background. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, life seemed perfect for Elena and her family. Married for 10 years to her husband Andrei, they had 2 children, Yana and Tearelle, who brought laughter and joy to their home. But one ordinary Saturday, a seemingly small crack began to show in their idyllic life, setting off a chain of events that would challenge their relationship and reveal hidden struggles. What began as a typical family dinner soon spiraled into an emotional confrontation as secrets threatening to tear their family apart began to come to light. Part 1. Hidden Currents. In the peaceful suburb where my family lived, life appeared idyllic. My husband Andrei and I had been together for 10 years, and we were raising 2 wonderful children, Yana and Tearelle. Every morning began with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the light laughter of our children as they scurried through the house, often sneakily bringing in fresh flowers from our garden. I always believed nothing could shatter this tranquility until, on one ordinary day, everything changed. Saturdays were family days, a time when we gathered around the dinner table. I always put in extra effort to prepare something special. That day, I decided to bake a blueberry pie, the children's favorite treat. Something told me that family gatherings would become even more precious in the days to come. I overheard Andrei talking on the phone in another room. His voice was tense, and there was none of the usual warmth in his conversations that I had come to expect when he spoke to friends. He was using short sentences and occasionally leaned toward the window, as if he were concerned someone might overhear him. I tried to ignore my growing unease, but inside I felt a maelstrom of anxiety. Once dinner was ready and we gathered around the table, I noticed Andrei rubbing his temples as if trying to shake off heavy thoughts. He sometimes absent-mindedly fixed his hair, and it was clear that an invisible barrier had formed between us. "Are you okay?" I finally broke the silence. He nodded, but I could see it was a mere facade. The pie was soon ready, and I sliced it into pieces, distributing them among the plates. Children squealed in delight when they recognized their beloved dessert before them. We sat down to eat, and conversations about school and friends filled the air, temporarily warding off the chill that had settled in our home. Still, my internal turmoil wouldn't dissipate. I watched as Andrei seemed distant, his attention diverted to his phone. When the kids finally went to bed, I suggested we watch a movie to unwind. He agreed, but it felt more like a concession than genuine interest. His mind seemed elsewhere. I decided it was finally time to confront him. "Andrei, can you please tell me what's going on? I can't stand being in the dark." I tried to keep my tone calm, but my heart was racing. He looked at me, and I saw something in his eyes, perhaps fear or shame. "It doesn't matter, my love," he finally said, averting his gaze. I felt a lump in my throat. With every word, the dread in my stomach swelled. I feared losing him. The night turned into a painful exchange where neither of us was willing to back down. I understood that if I didn't voice my concerns, we could drift apart, both trapped in our own fears and miscommunications. However, deep down, I didn't want to believe he was being unfaithful. Perhaps it was just stress, challenges at work. But my intuition screamed that there was something more serious he was grappling with. Maybe it was worse than I dared to imagine. Meanwhile, I listened as he finally began to speak. "Sometimes I feel trapped, like I don't know how to move forward in life. Maybe I just need some time." I tried to respond gently. "I understand that it's tough, but we can get through this together." Yet in that moment, my words felt more like a self-assurance than a comfort to him. The calmness that had nestled in the corners of my mind was shattered when I noticed his lips tremble. I momentarily froze, watching him. I knew then that I couldn't leave him without support. "You're not alone, Andrei. Let's try to talk through this so I can understand." I attempted to convey warmth. This was the moment when I wished he would open his heart to me. I understood the importance of sincere words, simplicity, and transparency. I longed to bring back the light that once shone brightly in our relationship. But what is it like to face the truth of something you don't even want to acknowledge? In the depths of my soul, I resolved to discover the reality of Andrei's struggle. Even though the prospect of confronting our issues was daunting, I could feel a storm brewing beneath the surface, and the time for exploration had come. Part 2. Unraveling Threads. As the days turned into weeks, the tension in our home became more palpable. Although Andrei had been coming home late, I could sense that he was wrestling with something that weighed heavily on him. Our mornings filled with the sound of children's laughter now felt heavier, as though an unspoken truth lingered in the air that neither of us dared to address. One Saturday, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I urged myself to encourage openness while preparing a family outing. "Let's go to the lake today," I announced with an enthusiasm I didn't entirely feel. "We can have a picnic and let the kids play." Andre looked at me, a flicker of confusion passing over his face, but he nodded. I hoped that the warmth of the sun and the joy on Yana and Kirill's faces would help ease the heaviness between us. We arrived at the lake, its shimmering surface reflecting the azure sky. The children dashed off to explore, their giggles echoing in the open air, while Andre and I set up our picnic blanket beneath a large willow tree. I watched the kids with a sense of nostalgia and longing. This was the kind of family day I cherished, yet the shadows of uncertainty loomed large. As we sat down, I couldn't help but try to bridge the chasm between us. "It's beautiful here, isn't it?" I ventured, attempting to bring some of that lightheartedness into our conversation. Andre's gaze was distant. He nodded slowly, but I could see he was far away, lost in thought. After a few more minutes of silence, I took a deep breath and pressed on. "I miss you, Andre. I don't know what's going on, but I want to help." He looked at me then, his eyes searching mine, as if parsing what I'd just said. The moment felt electric, but silence held him captive. I realized that perhaps the fears I harbored were rooted deeper than I'd first imagined. The children returned from their explorations, their cheeks flushed and eyes bright with excitement. They clamored for sandwiches, and the moment broke. We shared food, laughs, and the ease of family life, but I remained restless. In the back of my mind, the weight of an unacknowledged truth loomed large. That evening, after the children were asleep, Andre and I found ourselves lying in bed, the silence between us filled with unspoken words. Shadows danced across the walls as our bedside lamp flickered. "Andre, please," I said softly, desperation seeping into my voice. "If there's something you need to say, just say it." For a long time he hesitated, his expression pained. Finally, as if the floodgates opened, he turned to me, tears glistening in his eyes. "I feel lost, Elena. I don't know how to be the husband you deserve, or the father the kids need. I've been struggling at work, and I've been distant. I thought I could handle it on my own." The confession hung in the air like a broken promise. My heart softened, and I reached for his hand, squeezing it gently. "You don't need to face this alone. I'm here for you, and I'd rather share in your burdens than let them fester in isolation. Please let me help." As he opened up about the pressures he had been facing, the project deadlines, the unfortunate layoffs at his workplace, and the overwhelming feeling of inadequacy, I listened intently, feeling the tight knot in my chest begin to loosen. I learned that his withdrawal had nothing to do with us but stemmed from external pressures that had become too much to bear. When he finished, there was a tenderness in his gaze that hadn't been there in weeks. "I'm so sorry," he murmured. "I didn't mean to shut you out." I smiled softly, gratitude spilling through me. "We'll figure this out together, Andre. You're my partner, and we've gone through challenges before. The important thing is to communicate, to be open with each other." In that moment, I felt a spark of hope ignite between us. The storm that had once brewed beneath the surface began to dissipate as we both leaned into our emotions, allowing vulnerability to weave its way back into the fabric of our relationship. We had a long road ahead, but I was ready to walk it with him, hand in hand. Part 3. New Beginnings. The days following our heartfelt conversation felt lighter. Andre had begun prioritizing our time together, making a conscious choice to engage with the kids and me. The weight of unspoken words had lifted, creating space for laughter and connection once more. One afternoon, while tidying up the living room, I found an old board game we used to play as a family. I could almost hear the echoes of laughter and playful banter as I set it on the coffee table. "Hey everyone!" I called out, excitement bubbling in my chest. "How about a board game night?" Yana and Tearelle perked up instantly, their eyes gleaming. Andre appeared from the kitchen. Curiosity piqued as he saw the board game. "Is that the one with the colorful pieces?" he asked, a smile breaking through. "Yep, let's bring some of that fun back," I replied, hoping it would spark further joy in him. That evening, as we gathered around the table, the sound of dice rolling and our collective laughter enveloped the room. For the first time in weeks, it felt as though our family was whole again. The children eagerly argued over strategies, each trying to outsmart the other, while Andre and I exchanged knowing glances, relishing the warmth of this moment. After a couple of games, Andre turned to me. "You know," he said, his tone lighter than it had been for a while, "I had forgotten how much I missed this." "Me too," I replied, feeling a surge of warmth in my heart. "Let's make it a regular thing. Family game nights every Friday." "Deal," he said, grinning at Yana and Tearelle, who cheered in excitement. As the weeks turned into months, our game nights became a cherished tradition. Beyond the laughter and playful competition, they encouraged Andre and me to communicate more openly, finding joy in shared experiences. We also began to talk about our dreams and aspirations, both as individuals and as a family. One evening, as we sat together after the kids had gone to bed, Andre brought up a topic that made my heart swell with pride. "I've been thinking about starting my own business," he confessed, his voice tinged with excitement and a hint of trepidation. I looked at him, eyes wide with curiosity. "Really? What kind of business?" "It's still just a thought, but I've been considering starting a small consultancy. I want to help others navigate the challenges I faced in my previous job." "That's incredible," I said, my heart racing with excitement for him. "You're passionate about your work, and this sounds like a fantastic idea. I believe in you." With every passing day, I saw the shifts in Andre. He became more energized, more open to pursuing his passions and engaging with the world around him. The determination I witnessed in him inspired me too. It reminded me of my own dreams, long buried under the weight of routine. One weekend, as a new project began to take shape for Andre, I decided to rekindle my own creative endeavors as well. I had always loved painting, but had set aside that joy for years. I bought supplies and started to explore my artistic expression again, channeling my feelings onto the canvas. "Wow, you've really gotten into this," Andre remarked one afternoon, watching me paint in our sunlit living room. An array of colors splashed across the canvas. "It feels good to create again," I replied, looking up at him. "Finding time for my passions has been so liberating." Days turned into weeks as we both pursued our dreams, cheering each other on. Andre started crafting a business plan, reaching out to potential clients and networking within the community. As he blossomed, he shared his ideas with me, embracing collaboration and brainstorming sessions together. On one particularly beautiful Sunday morning, as we sipped coffee on the patio, Andre looked out at the garden where the children were playing. "You know, I wouldn't have been able to even consider this without your support," he said, sincerity shining in his eyes. I turned to him, filling with warmth. "We're a team, Andre. I've always believed in you. It just took us a little while to find our way back to each other." His hand found mine, and in that connection, I felt the bond between us grow deeper than before. Our challenges hadn't vanished, but we were learning to navigate them together, armed with love and determination. As summer began to wane, with the bright colors of autumn peeking around the corners, our family found joy in each moment, a newfound appreciation for the life we were creating together. We were learning that through the storms, there would always be a way forward, with open hearts, hand in hand. Part 4: Challenges and Triumphs. As the leaves turned from green to hues of amber and crimson, a sense of excitement filled the air. Andre's business was gaining traction. He had secured a couple of initial clients who were impressed with his expertise and personal touch. But with this success came the inevitable stress of entrepreneurship. Late nights spent behind the computer left him tired, and occasionally frustration would bubble to the surface. One evening I found him pacing in our small home office, his brow furrowed in concentration. I gently knocked on the doorframe. "Hey, everything all right?" He sighed heavily, running a hand through his hair. "I just got off the phone with a client who is unhappy with my proposal. I feel like I'm not living up to their expectations." "Every entrepreneur faces challenges," I reminded him, stepping into the room. "It's part of the process. Remember when you used to say that every setback is an opportunity for growth?" He chuckled lightly, recognizing the irony. "Easy to say, harder to believe at times." "Let's brainstorm some ideas together," I suggested, hoping to lighten his burdens. "We can tackle this as a team." Gratefully, he nodded. Together, we sat down to discuss the client's needs. breaking them apart and examining them closely. As we worked, I saw a flicker of his enthusiasm return, igniting a spark of creativity. "I could use your perspective more often," he confessed, a hint of relief washing over his face. "You have such a knack for problem-solving. Just call me your secret weapon," I teased. And as we shared a smile, it brought us closer again. Over the next few weeks, we found our balance. I supported him through the highs and lows of client meetings, and in exchange, he made room for my creative projects, allowing me to express myself freely. Yana and Tearelle noticed the shift too. Often they would burst into the office with new artwork or ideas for family outings, reminding us of the joy that comes from shared experiences. But as the demands of the business grew, Andre's attention started to drift. He found himself preoccupied with work matters, often pulling late nights and missing family dinners. One Wednesday evening, as the kids and I sat at the dining table, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness watching the empty chair where Andre usually sat. "Mom, is Dad going to be home soon?" Yana asked, disappointment evident in her voice. "I'm sure he's just busy with work," I reassured them, though I sensed a crack forming in our family dynamic. Once the kids were tucked into bed, I waited up for Andre. When he finally walked in, the exhaustion on his face was unmistakable. "Sorry I missed dinner," he said, rubbing his temples. "It's just been non-stop lately." "Can we talk?" I asked gently. He sank into the chair across from me, his shoulders heavy. "What's on your mind?" "I'm worried about you, about us. The kids miss you, and honestly, I feel like I'm losing you to the stress of work." The words hung between us, thick with unspoken feelings. "I didn't realize it was affecting everyone so much," Andre admitted softly. "I'm just trying to build this thing from the ground up." "I understand, but building a business shouldn't come at the cost of our family," I said, my voice steady but kind. "Let's find a way to prioritize time together. We can adjust the pace." He nodded slowly, the tension in his face softening. "You're right, I need to manage my time better. I don't want to miss out on important moments with you and the kids." From that moment, we decided to create a family calendar, blocking out time for work, family fun, and even self-care. We encouraged each other to stick to it, reminding one another that our well-being was just as important as the goals we were working toward. As autumn progressed, we embraced our new routine. We found joy in simple activities, family hikes, weekend picnics in the park, and cozy movie nights. The moments we created together became cherished memories, knitting us closer as a family. Even amidst the hustle of Andre's work, we were committed to facing challenges together. One chilly Saturday afternoon, we ventured to a local orchard to pick apples. The laughter of our children filled the air as they darted among the trees, clambering to find the juiciest fruits. Andre and I exchanged glances, the warmth of contentment washing over us. "This is what it's all about," I said, taking in the beauty surrounding us. He nodded, pulling me close. "Thank you for grounding me. I needed this reminder." As we walked hand in hand among the trees, the sunlight filtering through the leaves, I realized that the journey of balancing work and family was ongoing, but with open communication and a resilient spirit, we could weather any storm together. Part 5. Embracing Change. With the holiday season approaching, excitement buzzed in the air. We began planning our family traditions, decorating the house, baking cookies, and setting up the tree. Each small detail, each flickering light added a spark of magic that filled our hearts. But this year felt particularly special. Andre had secured a series of long-term contracts, meaning the hard work had begun to pay off. Yet, this didn't mean we'd fall back into old patterns. We were determined to keep our family at the foremost. One evening, while we decorated the tree, I glanced at Andre. "Can you believe how far we've come?" I asked, admiring the colorful ornaments the kids had hung haphazardly. "It's incredible," he replied, his eyes shining with pride. "Thank you for keeping me grounded. I couldn't have done it without you." As we placed the final ornament on the tree, I felt a surge of gratitude. Our journey hadn't been easy, but through each challenge we'd emerged stronger, building a life resonating with laughter and love. The holiday festivities unfolded with cherished moments. A caroling night at the community center, cozy evenings in front of the fireplace, and a heartfelt New Year's Eve celebration filled with reflection and hopes for the future. As the countdown to midnight began, Andre held me close, and the warmth of our connection radiated through the room. "Happy New Year," he whispered as the clock struck 12. "Happy New Year," I replied, feeling the promise of new beginnings. We leaned in for a kiss, sealing our commitment to navigating the coming year together, open to the adventures ahead. Together, we faced uncertainty with faith, welcomed opportunities with courage, and cherished love as our guiding star. Part 6. Fresh Beginnings. With the new year came the crispness of winter air and a renewed sense of purpose. Andre's business was thriving, but we both knew that each new success brought its own set of challenges. Setting realistic goals became our mantra, and we frequently revisited our family calendar, ensuring that work didn't overshadow our time together. A new opportunity. One windy afternoon in January, Andre received an unexpected email. It was from a prominent tech company proposing a lucrative partnership that could elevate his business to new heights. As he shared the details with me, I could see the excitement in his eyes. "This could be huge," he exclaimed. "But it would mean a lot of additional work and travel." I could sense the whirlwind of possibilities. "It sounds like an amazing opportunity, but how will it affect our family time?" I asked, careful to voice my worries. "It might mean longer hours for a while," he admitted, looking pensive. "But if we manage it right, this could allow us to take the trips we've always talked about." Together, we debated the pros and cons. Ultimately, the potential for growth and the ability to create more stability for our family encouraged us to move forward with the endeavor. But we made a pact to prioritize our family time throughout the process. Balancing acts. As the weeks progressed, Andre dove headfirst into the partnership, often working late nights and weekends. While his ambition was admirable, I noticed the toll it began to take on him. One evening, after a long day, he slumped into his chair, exhaustion evident in his eyes. "Want to talk?" I asked gently, carefully reading his energy. He sighed deeply, rubbing the bridge of his nose. "It's just so much to juggle. I know this is a great opportunity, but I feel overwhelmed." "Do you need help? We can create smaller goals or look at delegating some tasks. You don't have to do this all alone," I reassured him. "I hate to feel like I'm letting my clients down," he replied, sounding defeated. "Your health and our family should come first. We can tackle this together," I encouraged, hoping to ease his burden. It was a turning point. Andre took a deep breath and allowed himself to lean on me, grateful for the reminder that while he was the driving force behind the business, he didn't have to shoulder the weight alone. Embracing change. As the snow began to melt, we felt the promise of spring approaching. The days gradually grew longer, and with them came a renewed energy. To keep our connection strong, we instituted family focus nights, an evening dedicated solely to one another. No work, no screens, just us. One Friday evening, we decided to go bowling. The kids' laughter echoed in the air as they picked out their colorful shoes, their excitement infectious. Andre, usually reserved, broke into fits of laughter at Yana's exaggerated bowling stance and Kirill's enthusiastic cheers whenever he knocked down a pin. "What's happening to my serious husband?" I teased, watching him embrace the joy of the moment. "I'm just enjoying the fun," he replied, a grin plastered across his face. These moments reminded us of the importance of joy in our lives. Each shared smile and burst of laughter forged our connection even deeper. Facing challenges, head on. As spring approached, the business began to thrive, but the demands it placed on Andre continued to grow. He faced difficult decisions, often staying late at the office. The struggle between work and family became increasingly palpable. One spring evening, while preparing dinner, I sensed tension as Andre received yet another work call. "Can it wait?" I asked, a hint of frustration creeping into my voice. He nodded, finally hanging up. "Sorry, I feel like I need to prove myself." "You're already doing that," I reassured him, turning to face him. "But not at the expense of our time together. Can we set a cut-off time for work calls?" He nodded, recognizing the wisdom in my words. "You're right. I don't want to miss out on family dinners." That week, we set firm boundaries. Andre designed a plan to manage his time better, carving out spaces for both business commitments and family life. It wasn't easy, but we found comfort in the conversations we had, always adjusting and adapting our approach as necessary. Renewal and growth. As April showers brought Mayflowers, Andre's business continued to flourish. With each passing month, we celebrated small victories together, enhancing our sense of teamwork, both in our personal lives and in Andre's career. One evening, as we sat on the porch gazing at the sunset, Andre turned to me. "Can you believe how far we've come?" he mused. "I do, and I'm so proud of you," I replied, warmth flooding my heart. "But more importantly, I'm proud of us, how we're growing together." With a newfound appreciation for balance, we embraced change with open hearts. We learned that every challenge brought opportunities not only for growth, but for strengthening our bond, and for that, we were truly grateful. As we leaned back, side by side, the emerging blossoms seemed to mirror the blooming possibilities ahead of us, a journey defined by love, resilience, and the strength to navigate whatever came our way. Part 7. Planning for the future. As summer approached, the air buzzed with possibilities. Andre's business had stabilized, and it was time to turn our focus back to personal dreams and family adventure. Exploring new horizons. During a family meeting one evening, I proposed an idea that had been a long-time dream of mine: a family road trip across the country. This was the perfect way to explore, bond, and create unforgettable memories together as we ventured into uncharted territories. We could visit national parks, camp under the stars, and finally see the Grand Canyon, I said, my excitement palpable. Andre, initially taken aback, took a moment to consider the logistics. "It's a fantastic idea, but we need to plan all those details out." With that, we assigned each family member a segment of the planning process. Yana took charge of researching the best trails in the national parks, while Tearelle focused on outdoor games for the trip. Andre and I mapped out the route, looking for scenic stops and hidden gems along the way. Teamwork makes the dream work. As the weeks passed, we leaned into the excitement, the anticipation igniting an adventurous spirit in each of us. Weekend outings at local parks became practice for our bigger adventure, enhancing our teamwork and testing our endurance. One Saturday, we decided to set up a mini camping experience in our backyard. The kids giggled as they helped set up the tent, piling blankets inside as the sun dipped low on the horizon. "This is going to be just like the real thing," Tearelle cheered, racing to grab his sleeping bag. As the stars began to twinkle, we gathered around a fire pit, roasting marshmallows and sharing stories. With laughter and warmth enveloping us, I couldn't help but feel content. Our journey was more than just a business venture or a vacation. It was about coming together as a family to share experiences and build a legacy of love, a test of resilience. But as with any journey worth taking, obstacles arose. A few weeks before our trip, Andre faced a setback when a key client unexpectedly pulled out, leaving him scrambling to adjust his plans. I watched as the stress crept back into his routine, threatening the balance we had fought hard to achieve. "Let's take it one step at a time," I encouraged him, leaning in closer. "We'll figure this out together." "I know," he sighed, "but I hate feeling like I'm letting everyone down." "Everyone has setbacks. It's how we respond that defines us," I reminded him. "Let's focus on the things we can control while maintaining our spirits for the trip." That evening, after we put the kids to bed, we brainstormed ways to pivot his business strategy. We outlined potential new clients and ways to enhance his marketing efforts. The dynamic shifting between struggle and support ultimately strengthened our bond and reminded us of our teamwork. The journey begins. Finally, the day arrived for our long-awaited road trip. With the car packed full of supplies, excited chatter filled the air as the children piled in. Andre and I exchanged knowing glances, feeling the thrill of adventures ahead. As we drove down winding roads lined with lush greenery, Tearelle shouted, "Are we there yet?" while Yana snapped pictures of scenic views. "Patience, my little travelers," Andre laughed, adjusting the music in the car. Every pit stop turned into an opportunity to discover new sights, savor local cuisine, and bond. We hiked trails, pitched tents, and laid under starlit skies despite challenges, from pesky insects to unexpected weather. Through it all, we learned to problem solve and support one another. Andre found joy in sharing laughter and stories around the campfire instead of succumbing to work stress. We deepened our partnerships as husband and wife, co-parents, and friends. A reflective moment. One night, as we gathered around the campfire, I could see the contentment in Andre's eyes as our family toasted marshmallows, their faces glowing in the firelight. "This is amazing," he said, voice low and sincere. "I needed this more than I realized." I smiled back, feeling grateful for every moment. "We did this together," I replied, squeezing his hand. "This is what life is about." As the embers glowed and the stars spangled across the sky, I felt that we had reached an important milestone. Life would continue to send challenges our way, but now we faced them united, with an unshakable foundation. Part 8. The journey continues. The road trip was a turning point for us, with long hours spent together, laughing, arguing about the best camping hacks, and soaking in awe-inspiring views. We forged lasting memories that filled our hearts with warmth. Reflections on growth. Upon returning home, we all experienced a renewed sense of appreciation for one another. The business continued to flourish, but the hardest part was learning to balance success with family time. Andre embraced the lessons learned during our adventures, applying them to his work. "I realized I can't be everywhere at once. I need to prioritize and focus on what matters most," he shared during one of our family dinners. We agreed that celebrating small victories helped cultivate a sense of gratitude and strengthened our family bond. New adventures on the horizon. As summer faded into fall, we decided to try something new. Inspired by our road trip, Andre and I enrolled the kids in a family adventure program that introduced outdoor experiences, rock climbing, zip lining, and kayaking. Our first outing was exhilarating. Standing at the foot of a climbing wall, both kids felt a mixture of excitement and anxiety. With encouragement, we took turns helping one another and overcoming fears. "Keep going," I cheered, proud of Tearelle as he scaled the wall. "I can't look down," he squealed. Yana, the brave spirit, zoomed to the top first, exclaiming, "This is amazing!" As the kids conquered their fears, Andre and I shared a glance, both feeling the pride swell within our hearts. These experiences reinforced our commitment to stepping outside our comfort zones together, the importance of connection. Through seasons of change, we continued our weekly family date nights, which became ritualistic and a cherished time for all of us. We eagerly explored new restaurants, attended community events, and visited local art galleries. As one evening unfolded at a vibrant art festival, I sensed a shift. The kids drifted into conversations about pursuing their own creative passions. Yana mentioned wanting to take an art class, and Tearelle showed eagerness for photography. Encouraging their interests was paramount. I shared my own creative aspirations, showing them that it was okay to pursue passions that ignited their spirits. Andre added, "Art is a reflection of our journeys. Capture and embrace each moment." Creating not just a space for dreams, but actively moving toward them, turned our family home into something vibrant, facing future challenges together. As we settled into routines that prioritized connection, we naturally evolved as a family. Challenges remained, but we approached them with newfound wisdom. Every challenge became a chance for learning, growing, and strengthening our bonds. As summer transitioned into fall and winter approached, it was clear that we were becoming resilient partners, equipped to tackle the unpredictability of life together. Conclusion: a journey of love and resilience. Now, as I reflect on the journey, I realize that it is the collective moments, both the easy and the challenging, that shaped who we are. Our lives are a tapestry of experiences, woven together with laughter, love, challenges, and triumphs. Each thread holds significance, reminding us of the adventures that lie ahead. And while the road may twist and turn, I have no doubts, as long as we embrace it together, we can navigate anything life throws our way.